On, and I'm Carol Berg with Verdure Wellness, and I wanted to pop on here because we had kind of a um, uh, fun time over on my profile or my personal page, talking about what kind of daily activities that you all do during this time when we're sequestered, or maybe you just do them as a matter of this is what you do every day, which would be fantastic. That would be just great. Lydia, thank you for joining me. Hi. So, the results of that, there was about 18 people who responded, and the results of that were that about a third of them like to walk on a daily basis, and another couple more like to walk with their dogs. And so it's all kind of in the same realm. So more than a third spend doing activity every day involved with walking. And then another five do yoga. And some of these overlap. Some people do more than one a day. And there's things like dancing, running, light movement, laughter, which was kind of fun, planking, push ups, stretching, stationary bike, stretching daily. One person did each of those things, or maybe they combined some of them. Um, and then, of course, there's the other activities that we all like to do, things like mowing the lawn, refinishing our furniture, gardening, shopping, housework. And some people don't do any type of activity. Now, I wanted to talk about this because, besides just being fun to see what it is that other people do to keep healthy, this month we're talking about activities involving our breath, our breathing, and our lung capacity, and how that is interconnected with movement. And we're going to talk about some techniques to help us to enhance some of our lung capacity, because we have this new thing in our life, this advent of these viral respiratory diseases, of which this looks like it's like the third one that we've had hit our country, and this one has really hit us hard. And these viruses can attack our body in our most important and most vulnerable spots, our lungs and our blood system. And so it's so important to try to increase our capacity so that um, that we're prepared, that we don't let these viruses in easily. And sometimes it's going to help, and sometimes, obviously, there are healthy people that are just succumbing to these viruses. But certainly, being as helpful as you can to your body, strengthening your body in any way that you can, is going to be helpful to stave off, to protect you during this horrible onslaught that we have. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. Um, Zumba. Lydia does Zumba. So, some amazing activities that people do to keep themselves healthy. And so, I just kind of wanted to stop in here a little bit to talk about how our activities are actually increasing our lung capacity. So, helping our breath and helping us to maybe stave off these diseases, or maybe that they'll be a little bit lighter on us than they are on people who don't do special things to make sure you're healthy. So, a couple of definitions, quick definitions. First, we have lung function, and our lung function is to supply our body with fresh oxygen. And as the heart pumps blood into our lungs, it's refreshed with oxygen, and it gets rid of carbon dioxide and other toxins. So that's what their function is. And we can't change that. We don't want to. We don't want to change that. But what we do have control over is our lung capacity, how much air your body uses or can use. And it can be controlled and it can be improved. And that is such great news. So, the Lung Health Institute tells us that regular physical activity can improve the quality of life in those with or without chronic lung conditions. So, even if you have a chronic lung condition or had a chronic lung condition, it's hard to say fast, you can improve your lung capacity. And so, for the greater good of our lungs, daily physical activity, any daily activity that we do on a regular basis counts as exercise. Things from gardening to cleaning to taking walks and doing, amazing things like Zumba, right? And that is really wonderful news. Have you ever noticed how movement is actually tied to the way you feel? Think about the times when you feel really tired and all you want to do is you want to go home and lay on the couch, right? Really hard to get off that couch and do exercise, isn't it? Or how about the times when you're kind of sad or really depressed and you just want to put a blanket over your head and not deal with anything? Or how about the times when you overeat, like a big turkey dinner at Thanksgiving or something? Or maybe it's just even a big lunch where you ate quite a bit of food and all you want to do is sleep over the next hour. Really, really difficult to move. So how can we increase our energy in those times? Well, by increasing the amount of oxygen that's in our lungs. That is a great way to increase our energy, even during times when we're sad or depressed or we're tired, or we've eaten too much. So how much oxygen that we actually have in our body helps us to be energized. The more exercise that we do, the more oxygen that we have. And the more oxygen that is in our muscles, which make them work more efficiently. Whenever we move, it increases our lung capacity. And the more capacity that we have in our lungs, the easier it is to breathe. Unfortunately, our lung function decreases as we age. Naturally, Harvard Health tells us that a 65-year-old male loses about a liter of air capacity in their lungs compared to the same man at 25 years old. So what happens is we're born with an amazing amount of lung capacity, and as we age and we, as children, do tons of exercises and they're always moving, our lung capacity continues to increase. And then it kind of starts to plateau around the age between 25 and 35, and then it starts to go downhill again. And so what can we do about that? Well, part of it we have no control over. There is air pollution that is affecting us. There is, carbon monoxide, from cars, different kinds of toxins in the air. We have no real control over that unless we move away from everything and everybody. It's difficult to do in this day and age. Smoking, of course, is a horrible thing for our lungs. And, that was something I did when I was younger. And things like illnesses like pneumonia, those things damage our lungs, right? And affects the amount of capacity that we have for clean air in our lungs at any point in time. The other thing that damages us is, I was getting a smoothie brought to me. Thank you.
Sorry.
The other thing is, where was I? Oh, posture. Posture damages the amount of capacity that we have for breathing. So if we have poor posture, so a lot of people when they're old, you see them and they're kind of, they're kind of leaning over and stuff. And when you look at them sideways, you know that they're cutting off some of that capacity to their lungs. And so our posture and sitting up straight has a big thing to do with it. And a lot of times we don't even realize that this is happening. I know myself, just on Monday, I suddenly realized that when I'm sitting at my desk, I was kind of slumping because my monitors were too low. So I needed to raise myself up and raise my monitors up, and it made a huge difference. It was like, standing up. And just that little thing increased my posture while I'm sitting. there's other things that we can do, of course. And one of the things is strength training for our upper body. Now, if you go out walking, if you're a walking kind of person, a really simple thing to do is to pick up a 5-pound weight and take it with you, or 2.5-pound weights. Or if this isn't enough, pick up bigger weights and take them with you. They also have those ones that go around the wrists, okay? And increase your lung capacity that way by giving your muscles some resistance, so it requires them and your lungs to work harder. Increase the size over time. If this gets easy, then get a larger weight. It always amazes me when I pick up a 5-pound weight and I think, boy, if I gain 5 pounds, this is how much weight I'm putting on my body. It's really an interesting thing, isn't it? The other thing you want to do is increase your exercise time. So the Department of Health and Human Services tells us that 150 minutes per week is the minimum amount of time that we should be exercising. That works out to about 30 minutes a day over 5 days. Or if you could exercise every day, if you're good like that, maybe 20 minutes a day. But no matter how you divide it up, maybe you only want to exercise 3 days a week. You need a minimum of 150 minutes a week of exercise in order to make sure that your lung capacity is at least where it should be, so that your muscles are strong, so that they can hold up the structure that we have. There's an amazing amount of muscles that hold up our body. And as we get old, we don't want to be one of those who are leaning over and, not giving the capacity that is available to our lungs. Our lungs need us to stand up straight and have good posture. So I don't know if there's any questions. And if you have any questions, be sure to post them below. And join me next week. Thank you so much, Lydia and Pam, for joining me this week. I appreciate it so much. Join me next week, and we'll talk more about how to breathe. I wonder if you're still breathing like you did when you were born. That's the question we're going to answer next week. So thanks for watching. Have a great evening. And remember, increase your exercise, do a little bit of strength training, and make sure your posture is good. Take care. See you next week. Bye.